once again, my friends, fellow historians, fellow lovers of ships, and fellow lovers of history and everything interesting. Now, I want to start a series to show you some artifacts from this lovely lady, the SS United States. But those of you that follow my channel know that my heart belongs to the Titanic when it comes to ocean liners. And what I like to do is I like to have a backdrop. I use the trumpeter 1/200 scale as a backdrop, and I use a model, a small little prep model, and that was the Win-Win 550 scale. So when I wanted to show you the SS United States artifacts that I got, well, I wanted to do the same thing. And what I actually wanted to do is I wanted to get a little prop. So what I did was, scouring eBay, I found a model from 1953 that looked like it could use a home. It had been started and it was pretty much discarded. So I was able to get it at a really good price. I think it was like $23. So I got it, and I decided to make the SS United States. But I wanted to do it special. So what I did was, you can see the king post, I actually put lights on, the ones at the stern and the ones at the bow. Let me show you, bring you over there. Oh, there they are. So we got lights on the king posts. I love the pennants. And I wanted to give her the blue ribbon because to this day, she holds the blue ribbon for the fastest transatlantic journey. And I wanted to make it special, like I said, so I ended up lighting the smokestacks, much like I did for the small model of the Titanic, the Win-Win. But I think the model came out relatively good enough, well, considering my modeling skills. One of the problems that I had was there was no decals for the tennis court, so I had to actually paint them, hand paint them, and then use a toothpick for the lines. But if you guys are interested, I actually did a series on this build, the Revell. This is the Revell kit from 1953, and I got a whole build series on this. But that's not really what I want to show you today. I want to focus on something really special. And to begin with, I'd like to say hello to my friends, everybody watching, and I'm actually going to dedicate this very special video to a friend of mine, Alan. Alan, if you're watching, you're the biggest SS United States fan that I know, and this is going to be a really special video, and I'm going to dedicate it to you, buddy. So if you're watching, I hope you enjoy what I'm about to show you. I got this from, let me show you guys, the United States Lines Company, Pier 59, 60, 61, and 62, North River, New York, 10011. From Virginia Beach. Anyway, what I want to show you guys today, this is the actual auction book from the SS United States. They had an auction where they were trying to get some money to help the preservation of the ship, and they actually made an auction program. The GUERNSEY'S auction. And you can see SS United States Lines. And it looks like this is sealed. Yeah. I'm going to go through this entire catalog with you. But I'm going to very carefully cut one of the sides so we can get the catalog out, so we can share it with you guys. But I'm holding the camera, so let me go ahead and get it out of the plastic, and I'll be able to show you guys what's in the book. Okay, so if you're going to bear with me, we're going to go through this catalog, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the camera. We can't use the modeling desk because I just painted the Klingon D7. And that thing is going to look really cool. I'm happy with the color, but it's drying. So we're going to do the coffee table for this. And I got the fan on because it's like 1,000 degrees here in New England. And it actually gives the illusion of the ship with the wind. So, okay, let's show you guys what's in this. Looking at the cover, we got the contents of the SS United States at auction. Guernsey's, SS United States, New York, Havre, Southampton. Alright, so hopefully the fan won't disturb everything too much. So when we open up the cover, she's got New York style, California grace, Midwest strength, a Texas space, Southland's charm, nation's pace. She's got freedom, form, liberty face. So salute the United States. We got the SS United States, Norfolk International Terminal, Norfolk, Virginia, October 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th. Benefit previews. And the catalog was $15 by mail. Okay, so we got the terms of the sale. And again, because this is a pretty thick catalog, I'm going to put it up in high definition. I'm going to put photos of every page if you want to pause it and check it out. But because of the thickness of this, I don't want this to be a 6-hour video. She is the largest ship ever to have been built in the United States. She is the fastest in the world. She is technologically superior to anything afloat, yet she is a statement of grace. She is an embodiment of the spirit of a nation. She is the SS United States. That's a gorgeous picture of her. The removal of property, payment. Let's see. Maybe get some pictures. And this is William Francis Gibbs, of course, the man who designed the SS United States. And Southampton Terminal. Welcome to Southampton, England, after the maiden voyage. And she was awarded, well, actually, it was the trip back where she was awarded the Blue Ribbon. You can see this stunningly beautiful picture of her. That's the arrival at the Battery. This remarkable saga begins in a wealthy neighborhood of Philadelphia. The time is 1886, and the person is William Francis Gibbs. The birth of the incredible dreamer is truly commencement of the epic and superb ship, the SS United States. One can virtually conclude that the lines, what would be the United States, were drawn in the early 1900s by a young Gibbs. It was taken, he witnessed the launching of the first of the great Atlantic liners to St. Louis. With its commitment, the beginnings of his vision started to take form. Gibbs' younger brother, Frederick H., was behind him all the way, financially and morally. William surrounded himself with technical dictionaries, engineering publications, and books about ships and machinery. And, as is so often the case of the prodigy, his education was primarily informal, highly dedicated learning process. He attended Harvard. However, he did ultimately review a Bachelor of Law degree, not without interrupting his studies to travel abroad on the Lusitania and the Mauretania. An obsession of Gibbs developed during his university days when he would read, draw, and create unique concepts behind locked doors to protect himself from ridicule by fellow students. The significant personality trait, secrecy, remained with him throughout life. In accordance with this, it is interesting to note that one of the 4 propellers on the United States, the 2 unique 5-bladed propellers, were never revealed or seen by anyone other than key personnel. Thus, the secret of the ship's incredible speed was kept a mystery during its entire activity or active life. It is also interesting to note that according to Commodore Leroy Alexanderson, most recent captain of the ship, never more than 3/4 of the ship's potential power was ever used, thereby leaving blank the answer to the question that were whatever her true speed was. On her maiden voyage in 1952, the ship broke the speed record for a transatlantic crossing by an ocean liner. The record crossing between New York and Southampton, England, took 3 days, 10 hours, 40 minutes eastbound, and 3 days, 12 hours, and 12 minutes westbound. It became the proud recipient of the Blue Ribbon and the Hales Trophy, the most prestigious award. The trophy is still in her possession and is displayed at the United States Merchant Marine Academy Museum at Kings Point, New York. To this date, the record still stands. That's why I had wanted to get the blue ribbon that I put on the model. Original design for the ship was put on paper by William Francis as early as 1915. Even in his teenage years, the concept of a superliner like no other had dominated his thoughts. The period between the wars saw the beginnings of growth of Gibbs and Cox, WF's naval architectural firm, to the point where after World War II, it had 3,000 employees. The final designs for what was to be the most advanced ship in the world were approved by the owners-to-be, United States Lines. And with the federal government providing help in the form of subsidies, the ship began construction in early 1950 in Newport News, Virginia. Oh, I love that. Look at that. Laying down her keel. The design and construction of the United States represented the most advanced technology known, utilizing systems and materials that to this day have not been duplicated. The aluminum superstructure was completely different from anything previously created. More aluminum was used than in any structure in the world, on sea or land. Safety features were superior to other ships and have been not equaled. Gibbs' obsession for privacy and secrecy was uniqueness and innovation and safety. The ship is completely fireproof. No wood was used in the ship's construction. Early advertisements indicated the only wood being in the form of the butcher blocks and the pianos. This was a first. Every ship prior to the time having been constructed with great quantities of wood. The SS United States is a 4-compartment ship, indicating it would not sink until 4 of its compartments were filled with water. This was also a first, most ships having been and still being 2 or 3-compartment ships. It was able to travel 10,000 miles without stopping for fuel, water, or supplies. The power and strength of the super ship were derived from Navy signs, its horsepower of 240,000, its length of 5 city blocks, and the height, that of a 12-story building. It is fascinating to note that the ship never made use of all its horsepower. The ship exceeded the United States Coast Guard regulations and was equipped to be readily convertible to carry 14,000 men if necessary in time of national emergency. Under normal circumstances, there was enough room for 2,000 passengers and 1,050 crew members. It is larger than the Queen Elizabeth II. It is the largest ship ever built in this country. It is equipped with 800 staterooms, and each had its own individual climate-controlled. Crew's quarters were superior to any others afloat. That the crew's demands were met, with most of them were met through the power and labor unions, proved to be one of the key factors in ultimately taking the ship from service. There are 4 dining rooms, a ballroom, 5 lounges, 3 smoking rooms, a writing room, a library, 2 movie theaters, 2 main galleries, kitchens, a main secondary galley, a gymnasium, swimming pool, garage for transporting cars, a fully equipped hospital, kennels for pets, and 18 elevators. The entire ship was fitted with central air conditioning, a first. The SS United States was literally a floating city. Not only was every luxury imaginable included, but also the mundane necessities of everyday life were on board. Locksmiths, tailors, printers, beauty parlors, barber shops, you name it. The United States had it. It cost $80 million to build and could probably not be duplicated for $500 million today. and we take a look at the launching day of this beautiful ship. And we got the Hales Trophy for the fastest ship in the world. The early 1950s represents a period of design that has over the past several years gained recognition as an important example of American thinking. Much like other periods of the design, such as the Art Deco of the 1930s and the Victorian era of the 1900s, the post-war modernism of the early 1950s, referred to as Art Moderne, has entered the dual category of being appealing to the decorator and collector, investor alike. The interior design of the SS United States typifies the look and spirit of the Art Moderne style. Finest interior decorations working closely with design studios and fabric houses join forces to produce the best of their day. Aside from fine style, their instructions require that all objects be strong, durable, lightweight, and fireproof. It was interesting to see such firms as Scala Madre, the noted fabric house, working with new synthetics of the day, which with pleasant results and due to the severe dicturns of Gibbs and Cox, that the items exist in such excellent condition today. The kitchens with their fine chefs made use of the best stainless steel and aluminum utensils and equipment. The quality of many of these items has never been equaled. To uncover, in effect, a collection of this quality is truly extraordinary. The kitchens employed the use of radar ranges for one of the first times, blenders, electric shake makers, toasters, waffle irons abound, with all the look of the 1950s. Dinnerware and glassware were the finest possible. All were made specifically for the United States. The ship's insignia was seen on most of the glassware, and dinnerware sported a design unique to her. Extra fine silver plate, superb quality, was also seen apart with the elegant and elaborate table settings. Their design was International Silver's Manhattan pattern. Fine linen, tablecloths, and napkins from Ireland and Belgium were used regularly. Logo designs were found on most of these. The ship was one of the last to be a three-class ship, with approximately equal numbers of staterooms for first, cabin, and tourist class. Unlike other ships that had tourist classes similar to steerage, the accommodations in tourist class were quite spacious and pleasant. As noted previously, the cruise quarters were remarkably comfortable, a result of heavy demands by the various unions. Fine art was seen throughout the ship. The dining saloon, the fortune bearer of green Lux, foam glass sculptured mural, expressions of freedom, noted sculptor William King's Mercator map also adorned the ship. In addition, fine artist Austin Purves Jr. was employed to decorate the elegant ship. His aluminum sculptures were seen in many of the ship's foyers and public spaces. Interesting that aluminum was not only used in the ship's construction, but also in the ship's decor and art. Safety and lightweightedness were the obvious reasons for this, but there was also a feeling of entering a new era, to ring in the new and forget the old. Despite all the modern metallic work on the ship, passengers still seemed to feel homey, warmth aboard the United States. No surprise, really. The designers were brilliant, combining unique utility with warmth. Everyone involved with the ship seemed to be special quality. Particularly sweet, the famous duck suite evoked the mood of the lush marshland, and its well-being occurred with paintings of ducks and tall grass. Of course, the mood created did not attract any of the marsh's natural inhabitants. Instead, the Duke and Duchess of Windsor were regular and frequent travelers in the famed suite, which did become alternately known as the Duke and Duchess Suite. Other voyages included John F. Kennedy and Jacqueline Kennedy, as well as the American presidents during the ship's active life. Among other political figures who enjoyed crossing the Atlantic on her were First Lady Margaret Truman and Ethiopian President Haile Selassie. Entertainment celebrities included John Wayne, Cary Grant, Leopold Stokowski, and scores of others. A Fred McMurray movie, Bon Voyage, was filmed on board. While dining or lounging, passengers would travel to the tranquil tones of strolling violins. When ready to upbeat action, one could enjoy the melodies of any or all three of the Meyer Davis orchestras. Teenagers had their own club in which to dance and mingle after dinner, and dancing one could go for a midnight swim and retire into the respective suites. What an elegant ship it was, and what elegant furnishings it harbored. The furnishings have fortunately been preserved remarkably well. The U.S. government took an active interest in the construction of the ship. In keeping with the commitment, the government was responsible for the installation of the elaborate dehumidifying system and for the entombment of many fine items of the ship's storage rooms. This occurred upon the ship's untimely, premature, and unnecessary demise. Glamorous items would have normally deteriorated were luckily given an extension of their lives. The demise of the SS United States, obvious, had nothing to do with its performance, a people-pleasing ocean liner. The ship's 17-year history reveals 90% of capacity passenger list for the duration, with not a single transatlantic run being slowed due to mechanical malfunction. The ship's dry docking for annual cleaning and repainting in 1969 saw the end of the scheduled runs. The demise was brought about by a combination of political forces centered around labor unions. Constant wage demands created frequent stoppages and created an air of undependability in the scheduling of the ship. It was these reasons, more than the coming of the jet passenger plane in the 1960s, that spelled doom for the greatest ship of the country, or perhaps the world, ever produced. You can see this photograph. Pictorial presentation and holders, blue ribbon, crossing between Europe and the United States between 1838 and 1952. Since its mothballing in 1969, the ship has remained docked in the Norfolk International Terminal site of the auction. It was purchased in 1981 by the United States Cruises, who after a hull inspection deemed it worthy to reactivate for the service, as well will become clearly the world's finest cruise ship. Look at this absolutely gorgeous picture. Going over 38 knots on the trials. The swimming pool, the flag's red, come on in, the water's fine. The shuffleboard on deck. All great ships, whether under sail or steam, have put to sea in the midst of romanticism, none more than the immense SS United States, with a pair of elegantly raked smokestacks, and prow so slender that tip could surrounded be by a human thumb or forefinger. So large was the vessel, the fulfillment of boyhood dream of the designer William Francis Gibbs, that she could not be built on land and launched downways into water, but instead was constructed in a special dry dock at Newport News, Virginia. On June 22, 1951, one day before her launching, workmen were still putting in her last of 1,200,000 aluminum rivets. That's 1,200,000,000 aluminum rivets, and had heated to a temperature of 1,040 degrees Fahrenheit, and then plunged them into a deep freeze towards evening water and permitted to flood the huge basin, the shipyard, while Gibbs, wearing a battered fedora, sat facing the enormous aluminum hull. All night the water flowed until sometime around dawn the next morning. The ship came off the construction blocks, and Gibbs' vision, 990 foot long, 101 feet 6 inches wide, with a capacity of 2,000 passengers and 1,000 crewmen, ship afloat, saw it for the first time. Later on in the day, Mrs. Tom Connolly, wife of the senior senator from Texas, christened the vessel before a crowd of 12,000. 1 year later, completely outfitted, the SS United States entered service on a North Atlantic run, a red, white, and blue maritime glory of the United States of America. The ballroom is like New Year's Eve every night. You can see some of these pictures. Margaret Truman on board wearing the fashions of the era. The Navajo room featured Indian sand paintings. And many gourmet chefs had hard at work. And let's see, the travel posters added a point of purchase inspiration to the person passing the travel agency. Pictured are posters that typify the 50s look. Oh, I love this. Check this out. You got the key right there, the smokestack, navigation, the chart room, the radar mast, the crow's nest, the first class observation lounge, navigation bridge, king post, anchor and cable chain, garage, and hospital. We got a nice layout of the decks. Look at the cutaway. Beautiful. Love it. Advertisements relied on personal testimonials, often by celebrities who traveled on the ship. And here are two examples. I actually did a video on just the advertisements, everything the shippers used, from travel brochures to coffee. It was really quite an extraordinary ship. And we got a beautiful picture. I don't know, is that, looks like New York. You can see her right there. And we got the glossary. And continues on this page. All sizes listed in the catalog are approximate. All tables listed as pedestal base are equipped with floor mount bolts for shipboard stability. After removal from the ships, the tables will require an auxiliary support to accommodate the pedestal. Inquire for recommendations. Alright, then we go into some of the estimates. Due to the unique nature of the settings of many of the items offered in this auction, a portion of the lots are underestimated. Upon individual request, the auction gallery will do its best to give the consumer the evaluation of the questioned lot. Dinner plates. I do have some a glass and some glassware. I actually got a piece of soap that I had gotten to show you guys. Plates, the furnishings, the fabric, upholstered armchairs, side chairs. The auction calendar. The preview is October 5th, 6th, 7th, 9 to 7. And the auctions, days begin at 9 a.m. and continue through late afternoon or until completion. It shows you the schedule for the week. The removal fee, property removal, and you can see Monday's slate. The linens, the blankets. And we have some plates. And some glassware, silver plates. Lots and lots of beautiful furnishings, dishware, silverware. The uniforms, check it out. The steward's uniform, purser's uniform, officer's uniform. The wall sculptures, the furnishings, decorative items, the armchairs. And this is the Windsor suite. You can see the chairs. We've got the tables, Navajo sand paintings, the copper-rimmed clock, stateroom suites, rowing machine, Navajo sand painting, the writing desks, the armchairs. Boy, they really, everything really went. I'd love to have a lamp from the United States. My friend Alan, if you're watching, Alan actually has a fantastic, he's got a light from off the ship, the outside of the ship. It's pretty cool. I wonder if it broke their hearts as they stripped the ship down to sell off everything for the Conservancy. You know, I'm surprised that White Star didn't do this to the Olympic. Instead of just scrapping it, they should have done this. They could have raised some money, or they could have just kept her. She was the closest thing to the Titanic, but she was actually scrapped in the early 1930s. The first class dining room. Look at a beautiful picture of that. Again, that's like one of the glasses that I had to show you. We got the ashtray, more glassware. The silk dish, we got one of those to show you guys. I've actually got a lot of artifacts to show you, so fans in the United States are going to want to stay tuned to my channel for a little while. I got some menus, the deck plans, just all kinds of cool stuff to show you guys, in addition to this. This is cool because we can always refer back to this to see if it's actually from the SS United States or not. Again, she had a lot of china, a lot of dishes. You can see some of the photos of this. I actually seen manufacturers' photographs, including many items in sale. more silverware. Well, when you're feeding north of 3,000 people 3 meals a day, I guess you're going to have a lot of kitchenware, dinnerware, silverware, drinkingware. And everything is cataloged. So even though I'm scanning this to show you guys, I will go over all the items will be scanned in, and you'll be able to pause, because I like to do my videos in high definition. It might take a while for it to fully process, but when it does, you should be able to pause and actually have a pretty good picture. See, that's what I got to show you guys, one of those. And we got some silverware. The identification. And silverware. I actually showed you guys a coffee pot, a coffee percolator from the ship. I wanted to use it. I actually got coffee from the United States Conservancy off a link. But the problem that I'm having with that coffee percolator is just it's stained up, and I just can't figure out how to clean it. And I don't want to damage it. And we've got all of the napkins and tablecloths. Stateroom blanket. I'd love to have one of those. We've got towels. It's funny because you don't really see too much of this at auction. So I wonder if this was all just individually bought and kind of lost, or if there was like a bulk of this stuff actually purchased by like a hotel or something. They actually have the interior of the RMS Olympic. I think it's in a pub or a restaurant where they took some of the woodwork. There's a menu. Matter of fact, I got one to show you right there, a couple of them. They had their own printing room. Look at that beautiful picture. And you can see everything listed. The program, the baggage tag, the luggage tag. You can see the daily program. The telephones, the life jackets, shower units, designed hangers. Like I said, they had really stripped the ship of everything you can possibly think of. Memorabilia. How cool would it be to have a telephone from the ship? Fans, deck chairs. Man, I would love to have a deck chair from the Titanic. So would a million other people, but look at the tables, the chairs. Looks like we have the bureaus, the dressers from the staterooms. And you got a luxury liner that's over 990 feet long. And you can imagine there's a lot of stuff on board. I love that port clock, the port window clock. It actually looks like there's some writing in this. Let's see. How cool is that? Yeah, okay. So somebody wrote down in this book. Maybe these are the times that these were auctioned off, or the price. You can see the different writing. And there's more writing in this side. And I apologize for the waving of the pages because the fan. It's just so hot in here. Got more writing. More uniforms. I love this photograph. This is the first class ballroom. Engine room memorabilia. I love that picture. Bridge. We got the basket weave stateroom chairs. More of the Navajo sand paintings, silver plates. Gray flecked armchairs from the staterooms. And I got another picture. Love this picture. This is the cabin class dining room. It looks like it could be first class on most other ships. Stateroom. So Alan, that valve that you have from the ship, that was probably purchased at the auction as well. The hallway bench. More sculptures. And this is the tourist class dining room. even in tourist class is beautiful. Hole number 488. You see the form you need to fill out for the bidders. That's beautiful, isn't it? The United States Merchant Marine Academy and Museum. That would be an amazing place to go. The First Lady of the Sea. If I can put this up without copyright strikes, I will do that. She's got her own song. And we got a few notes from Guernsey's, excuse me. And, my friends, that was everything listed in the auction. The Guernsey's auction for the SS United States. So, she's a beauty. It must have broke Mr. Gibbs's heart, looking down, seeing everything being auctioned off like that. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. I didn't want to get it too long, but I did want to show you everything that was in this amazing program. So, now you guys know what was auctioned off on the ship, the SS United States. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll have a bunch more artifacts from this wonderful ship to show you in the very near future. So my friends, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you again real soon.